Just days before their wedding, this couple, known as the Ken and Barbie killers, brutally raped and murdered a 15-year-old girl, dismembered her body, and buried it in cement. Paul Kenneth Bernardo was born on August 27, 1964 in Ontario, Canada. Although his family was rich and looked happy, it was just a facade. In 1975, Paul's father, Kenneth Bernardo, was accused of sexually abusing several children, and there are rumors that he even abused his own daughter. But despite the dark reality of his family, Paul was seen as a happy boy who always smiled. At 16, Paul's world was shattered when his mother, Marilyn Bernardo, revealed that he was the result of an extramarital affair. This revelation triggered a drastic shift in Paul's behavior. The once happy boy became bitter and resentful, frequently lashing out at his mother with cruel and derogatory remarks. As Paul grew older, his charm and charisma became powerful tools of manipulation. He knew how to use his good looks to gain the trust of young women, often striking up conversations at bus stops or public places where he would appear friendly and harmless. This ability to disarm his victims allowed him to lure them into vulnerable situations where he would then attack them. What began as manipulation soon escalated into violence. In May 1987 in Scarborough, a series of terrifying crimes began when a young woman was attacked and raped by Paul. Two similar attacks occurred within weeks, with all three victims, aged 15 to 21, reporting similar descriptions of their attacker. The media soon dubbed him the Scarborough Rapist. In the same year, Paul, then 23, met 17-year-old Karla Homolka. Born in Ontario in 1970, Karla was the eldest child in her family. Like Paul, Karla was seen as a bright, popular girl with a love for animals and showed no signs of a darker side. But this image was far from her true self. Paul and Karla quickly bonded over their shared twisted fantasies and began a sadomasochistic relationship. Throughout their relationship, Paul, with Karla's approval, continued to attack and rape girls in Scarborough. Over the years, Paul attacked at least 19 women, mostly young women he encountered around bus stops. He was questioned by police twice, but was never considered a primary suspect. In December 1989, Paul and Karla got engaged. Karla told a friend,
"Paul and I are happier than ever. He's being so great, so romantic, but that's typical of my honey."
However, Paul had grown bored with Karla after 3 years together and began focusing his attention on Karla's 15-year-old sister, Tammy. Instead of being upset, Karla encouraged Paul, telling him that she wanted to give her sister's virginity to him as a Christmas present. Tragically, this is exactly what happened. While Paul Bernardo was undeniably a sadistic predator, Karla Homolka was far from the innocent bystander she later claimed to be. In fact, Karla played an active and willing role in their horrific crimes. Her participation went beyond merely assisting Paul. She was often the one who facilitated his darkest desires. The most chilling example of her involvement was the brutal assault and murder of her own sister, Tammy. On December 23, 1990, during a Christmas party at the Homolka residence, Karla spiked her sister Tammy's drink with animal anesthetic drugs stolen from her workplace. After the family went to bed, Tammy passed out, and Karla placed a cloth soaked with halothane over her sister's mouth. Paul and Karla then took turns raping Tammy while Karla filmed the entire event. When Tammy began to choke on her vomit, Paul and Karla, terrified, cleaned up the evidence before calling an ambulance. Despite a visible chemical burn on Tammy's face, the drugs in her system went undetected, and her death was ruled accidental, caused by alcohol poisoning. Though it was so horrific, no one knew this was just one of many times the Ken and Barbie killers evaded justice. In 1991, Karla Homolka and Paul Bernardo brought another teenager, known only as Jane Doe, to their home after meeting her at Karla's workplace. The couple drugged and sexually assaulted Jane while filming their actions. Jane miraculously survived, waking up with no memory of the horrific events. On June 29, 1991, a couple boating on Lake Gibson discovered concrete blocks containing human body parts. The remains belonged to 14-year-old Leslie Mahaffey, who had disappeared on June 15th. She had been tortured and killed by Karla and Paul. But at the same time that Leslie's remains were being discovered, Karla and Paul were attending their wedding. In April 1992, Karla and Paul abducted, tortured, and murdered 15-year-old Kristen French.
That we are thinking of you and that everything can be done is being done. And we'll get you back real quick.
Her body was found in a ditch beside a rural road, badly beaten and with part of her hair shaved off. The police quickly connected the murders of Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey. The police were able to create a sketch of the suspect based on eyewitness accounts. After Kristen French was abducted in April 1992, witnesses reported seeing a couple approach her in a parking lot. The description provided by these witnesses allowed the police to develop a composite sketch of the male suspect. When the sketch was released to the public, it had a striking resemblance to Paul Bernardo. This prompted people who knew him, including those aware of his violent tendencies, to contact the police and report their suspicions.
Did you ever get caught? Did you ever get caught? No, never, never. Why? I'm a deadly innocent guy.
This crucial lead helped the authorities connect Paul Bernardo to the murders of Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey. Paul Bernardo was not immediately arrested after the sketch was released because, while it did help connect him to the murders of Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey, the sketch was only circumstantial evidence. This type of evidence can raise suspicion, but doesn't definitively prove someone committed the crime. A significant breakthrough in the investigation came in 1993, when DNA evidence linked Paul Bernardo to the Scarborough rapist case. By this time, advancements in DNA technology had made it possible to analyze old evidence with greater accuracy. Karla sought legal representation and negotiated a plea bargain in exchange for her testimony against Paul, claiming that Paul had raped and killed multiple women.
I want to do everything I can for you to put that bastard away forever. He doesn't even deserve to live, but I want him to rot in jail because dying's too good for him.
In what would later be described as the deal with the devil, she received a mere 12-year prison sentence as part of the deal. However, the full extent of Karla's involvement was not known at the time. It wasn't until video footage of the couple's crimes was discovered, revealing her active participation in the rapes and murders, that the public and authorities realized just how deeply she was involved.
First of all, he killed Leslie because she could identify him. Okay, the reason why he started bringing him home was because he wasn't satisfied with just like raping them and leaving. He wanted to have it over and over and over again. That's why his ultimate fantasy was to have like sex slaves. He constant beatings, as hell. He wanted to abduct somebody, but there was nobody.
And when you came back, did you have lots of photographs to show people?
Mm-hmm. Photographs and video.
And were these staged in the sense that he told you you're going to look happy and you're going to have a great time, or?
He didn't tell me that, but I knew to smile for a photograph or a video from top. I am abused. Like, every time I went to my parents, I was totally unhappy because, on the way there, Paul would be lecturing me. You know, if you say or do anything to make them think that we're not happy, I'm going to kill you, you're going to get it. He saw her and pulled into the parking lot and he told me what to do. I had no idea. What I was supposed to do is call her over and ask her for directions and get out of my house. And, get out of the car and leave the door open, and he just went to come around and then push in the car. Mm-hmm. So that's exactly what happened.
How was he supposed to keep her in the car?
He had a knife.
I see, so it was by threat.
Yeah.
Okay, and it worked.
Yeah. Sunday came and he decided that it was time to kill her. He had to go to my parents' house. He tied her legs together and handcuffed her hands and tied her the whole chest. She was on her knees. And he put a rope around her neck. And he said to her, he raped her. And not he didn't rape her, right? But he said something like, "Do you want to die?" And just in the middle of her talking, he strangled her. He just cut her right off in the middle of the war. He had beaten me really badly. And my whole face was black and blue. The police had photographs of it. He used to make me kneel on the floor in the middle of the bedroom and make me stare straight ahead, and he would walk around me in circles and kick me. And I wasn't allowed to look, so I wouldn't know when it was coming.
Paul Bernardo was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years for the murders of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French.
Only the trial is over. Leslie is still not coming home.
It's suspected that there may be more victims of Paul Bernardo. It is believed that these were not their only victims. Authorities have long suspected that the couple may have been involved in many more murders, with some estimates suggesting there could be up to 30 or more victims. Karla Homolka was released from prison in July 2005 after serving 12 years.
Karla Homolka est libre maintenant. Est-ce que vous sentez que vous avez payé votre dette à la société?
Ça, c'est une question difficile. Légalement, oui. Émotionnellement, socialement, non. Non.
Qu'est-ce qu'on fait pour payer sa dette? Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour payer sa dette émotionnellement et socialement envers une société qui vous juge encore, de toute évidence?
Je pense que socialement, j'ai besoin de faire le plus de choses possible pour aider les gens. Puis émotionnellement, je vis avec ce que j'ai fait constamment. Puis ça va jamais finir. Souvent, je pleure. J'arrive pas à me pardonner. Je pense à ce que j'ai fait. Puis souvent, je pense que je mérite pas d'être heureuse à cause de ça.
Comment vous jugez maintenant ce que vous avez fait? Quand vous y pensez, vous vous jugez vous-même comment?
Mais ce que j'ai fait, c'était terrible. Puis j'étais dans une situation où j'étais pas capable de voir clair, où j'étais pas capable de demander de l'aide, où j'étais complètement bouleversée dans ma vie. Puis je regrette énormément parce que je sais que maintenant, je sais que j'avais le pouvoir d'arrêter tout ça. Mais quand j'étais là-dedans, j'ai pensé que j'avais aucun pouvoir.
Paul Bernardo's request for parole in 2018 was denied. A lawyer representing the victims' families stated,
"There's never been an apology by Paul Bernardo. There's never been any indication whatsoever of remorse."
Karla Homolka, who has since remarried and lives a seemingly quiet life with her husband and 3 children, is believed by some to have been one of Paul Bernardo's victims. Others believe that she was not only a willing participant, but also the mastermind behind the crimes. What do you think?